Picture this with me. You get up in the morning, you feel good because you had a good night's sleep. It's time to get dressed. You pick out an outfit that you really like and you feel confident in, and it actually still fits you. And it's an outfit that you've had for several years because you're not going up and down constantly with clothing sizes. You go downstairs, you have your breakfast, and it's something that you planned for and prepared in advance. It's healthy, it's got produce and protein, and you know it's going to make you feel really good throughout the day. You start your day and you have energy and you feel good to do the activities that you need to do. You run into some type of food temptation, whether it's a coworker bringing in food or your spouse wanting to go out to eat or seeing signs for the latest fast food or junk food that you know that you would enjoy. And you think, okay, I can handle that because I know how to manage food cravings. When you go to a church event or a meeting for work, you can be confident and stand up and say what you believe in and what you want to do next. Does that all feel like an impossible dream to you? Does it seem like your food issues are holding you back? Well, let me tell you, it is not impossible, and I know that I can help you with the path to get there through Faithful Finish Lines. If that sounds like something that you want, tell me about it in the comments, and I want to share with you the next steps for you to take to get there. Well, my name is Sarah, and together with my business partner, Becky, we run a program called Faithful Finish Lines. And in this video, I am going to talk to you about the number one shift that will be completely transforming for you to lose weight, to get to a healthy weight, and stay there for the rest of your life by the power of the Holy Spirit. For so much of my life, my food issues were my biggest struggle. I did not have the peace that I just described at the beginning of this video, not in any way, shape, or form. I was a compulsive overeater. I was obsessed with food. I would have said I was addicted to food. I was a binge eater. I was a secret eater. I would drive through fast food and hide the wrappers and then go home and pretend I hadn't eaten it and eat with my family. I had such behaviors that felt so embarrassing and shameful to me. I was embarrassed of my body. All of these things and more. And Becky has a very similar story, and each of us has lost over 100 pounds by God's power and have kept it off for me 2 decades, Becky a decade, even through the ups and downs of pregnancy and having her kids. We have done it, and we know that you can do it too. We have led thousands of women to weight loss, and we are here to guide you on the path of your success story as well. If that sounds like something that you want, tell me about it in the comments, and we will tell you how you can get there. We have a free challenge called Motivated by Grace. I know some of you are watching have already completed this, and so you understand. If not, we have a link below that we can share this with you. This is your starting point. This is step one of what does it mean to lose weight by God's power? For me, I was a Christian my whole life. And yet I had these food issues and struggles my whole life. And it was a disconnect. It was like I almost didn't even understand how to bring God into my weight loss journey. I didn't even consider it in many ways. For most of my life, I was caught in what I now recognize is the shame spiral. What the shame spiral is when we have these deeply held beliefs that there's something wrong with us. And for me, it was because of my food issues and my body. The shame spiral starts with a triggering event. That could be weighing in at the doctor, trying on your clothes and your pants are way too tight, somebody's mean comments to you, someone bullying you, the bullying comments that you say in your own head, stepping on the scale, that triggering event, which then leads to thoughts like, I'm no good. I'm never going to lose weight. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with my body. I'm a failure. I might as well just give up and eat all the things because nothing I try works. That leads to feelings like despair and overwhelm and grief and anger and a victim thought of like, it's not fair. How come I have to deal with this and other people don't? And then those thoughts and feelings lead to actions. And for me, those actions were not good and not productive. Things like overeating, binging, hiding wrappers, secret eating, like I described at the beginning. I was so much caught in the shame spiral. And I tried all the things to lose weight. I tried diets. I tried calorie restriction. I tried Weight Watchers. I tried Slim Fast shakes. But all of those things were done from a place of shame. I was ashamed of my body. I was ashamed of my behavior. And I thought that I could just somehow whip myself into shape if I just tried hard enough and just told myself enough times, come on, Sarah, get it together. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you need to figure this out. You dug yourself in this hole. You've got to dig yourself out. If you can relate to any of that, let us know in the comments, because it really helps to know that we're not alone, first of all. And second of all, recognize that you are in a shame spiral. And the truth is, a shame spiral only takes you one place, and that is down. It never leads to the food freedom that we talked about at the beginning of this video. But there's something that does, and that is the grace spiral. It looks like this. It's the opposite of the shame spiral. The grace spiral, that triggering event happens, whether it's stepping on the scale, going to the doctor, someone's rude comments, but we handle it a totally different way. We admit whatever behaviors we have around food that are sinful or wrong, feelings. Sometimes the triggering event isn't at all our fault. Going to the doctor, there's nothing wrong with that. Or someone makes rude comments to you about your body, that's not your fault. But we often have sinful behaviors around those situations. So it's admitting the times that we do have sinful behavior around food, and then asking God for forgiveness. That can be a simple one-sentence prayer. Lord, I'm sorry that I overate and used food to manage my feelings. Please forgive me. And then we accept God's grace and forgiveness. And often this is the hardest one, especially for those of us who are Christians. We know that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. We know that God loves us. We know that we have his grace and forgiveness. But it's hard to feel it sometimes. And applying it to our weight loss journey and our food choices might be a totally different way of thinking about these things for you. I know that it was for me. I had them as two separate parts of my life, and having it come together is amazing. Friends, this is the basis of who we are as Christians. This is confession and absolution. This is law and gospel. This is Jesus. This is the foundation of our whole life as a Christian. This is what makes life worth living. This is the absolute beautiful freedom of the gospel and the message that the Bible is telling us. It's what it's all about. It's taking that, which is giving me just holy chills right now and such excitement. It's taking that and applying it to our weight loss journey and our feelings about our body that shifts and changes everything. When you move from the shame spiral to the grace spiral, it will change everything about your weight loss and even your life. So once you have admitted, asked, and accepted, then we start to look at what feelings does that create for you. For me, it's relief and joy and compassion, and sometimes some mixed feelings in there too. Maybe some sadness that I did live in the shame spiral for the majority of my life. Maybe a little bit of apprehension, like, okay, I get it, but how is that really going to change my behavior? Maybe some like skepticism, like I've tried all the things to lose weight. Is this really going to be any different? Let me assure you, yes, it will be different. Compassion was the turning point for me. God's compassion for me, accepting that, and then extending to myself the same compassion and grace that God gives me. When I do those things, it changes my behavior. In the free Motivated by Grace challenge, what we do then is we take one action and we practice it, which is planning tomorrow's food today. So we keep a food log. We plan what we're going to do for one day of eating. So think about right now as you're watching this video, and I'll just ask you, I'm going to give you a little challenge here. What are you going to eat tomorrow? Go ahead and just plan it right now. Just take like 3 minutes, and you can even tell me about it in the comments if you want that accountability. Do you have a little bit of a feeling of, oh, wait a minute, not sure about this, Sarah? You have some, kind of apprehension or not so sure about this. Pay attention to that. Get really curious. Why? Why is it so difficult to think about? You might be saying things like, well, I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for tomorrow. Or, well, maybe my husband's going to want to go out to eat. Or, what about like, something comes up, or I'm not sure what groceries we're going to have in the house. All of those feelings that get stirred up, pay attention to those. And then I want to challenge you. In our challenge, what we do is you plan your food the day before, and then the next day you follow your plan. And then pay attention to the times when you struggle to follow your plan. Why is that so hard? For many of us, we get this rebellion inside of us of like, oh, well, what if I don't want to eat that? What if I'm not in the mood for that? Or almost this feeling of like, well, don't tell me what to eat. I'm a grown up. I'm going to choose whatever I want. Pay attention to all of those feelings. Some of that could come, occasionally from circumstances, but often it's food cravings and those desires to, I want to have what I want in the moment. And it's funny that we get so rebellious from what we planned because nobody else told you you had to eat that. You're the one who planned it. So why are you rebelling against your own plan? It was just what you planned yesterday. Part of the reason for this is that when we make a plan in advance, we use the front part of our brain, that thinking part of our brain that can think ahead and plan for what we really want. Not just what we want in the moment, but the bigger hopes and dreams, the healthier choices that we know are honoring our body that God created, the temple that He created for us. But when we make our choices in the moment, we're thinking more with our primitive brain where we're just saying, I want what I want right now and nobody else can get in my way. That's what I want. And that's where we feel that conflict. And this is where the Bible verse where Paul talks about not doing what we want to do and feeling that conflict. But when you feel those things, the more that you can manage it through the grace spiral, that is where the transformation happens, because this is the fantastic thing about grace. No one can walk away from grace unchanged. The more that we learn about and practice and experience Jesus' love and grace and forgiveness for us, it changes our thoughts, it changes our feelings, which then changes our behavior. And this is a practice. This isn't a one-time thing. This is something that we practice again and again. And this is why it's a spiral. The more times that you do it, the more amazing it becomes. You recognize God's grace and forgiveness for you even more, which changes your behavior, which changes your thoughts and feelings the next time you have a triggering event. And it just becomes something that you build on and becomes greater and greater each time you experience it. And we have for you a membership, our Faithful Finish Lines membership, where we are going to be there with you and practice it with you as you experience it and go through the grace spiral again and again. Becky and I have put together some foundational principles that we have lived and we have taught thousands of women. We've led the Faithful Finish Lines program for many years, and it was great. Lots of women had amazing success. But this last year, we recognized that we wanted to make some improvements. We wanted to make the program even faster and easier to go through. And we listened to the feedback of a lot of people who said, I'd love to participate, but it's just a little much for my budget. So we even lowered the price. We figured out a way to do that as well. Who does that in today's world? And so we're so excited and honored to bring to you the brand new Faithful Finish Lines membership. What happens in the Faithful Finish Lines membership? In the membership, we have a very clear guided path for you for weight loss, for getting to a healthy weight for your body and staying there for the rest of your life based on these principles that we teach. But more than just that, what we have for you is a support community. We have the Faith Foundation. So it's the principles. You might be coming in using another program, whether it's eating low carb, or you need to follow like a diabetic program, or you're doing Weight Watchers, or you're using MyFitnessPal, or you're coming in with no particular program at all. All of those are fine, because what we do is we teach you all of that practical stuff. We talk about all the practical things, but with that heart foundation of faith. It's all of it looked through the lens of the gospel. It is the grace spiral applied to all of it. So this is what's so challenging and yet really cool about Christian weight loss. What is Christian weight loss? It's keeping God at the center of your journey. So some of the outward behaviors, like I showed you, keeping a food log, might look the same on the outside, but trust me when I tell you it is not the same, because we are applying Faithful Finish Lines principles to all of it. We are applying the grace spiral to all of it. We are trading our shame for grace. So it might look the same on the outside, but it is not the same. It is the shift that makes all the difference, because you might be doing the same activities, but you're doing them from a totally different place. You have a totally different motivation, and this is what changes all of it. So if what I talked about at the beginning, you were like, yeah, that sounds like a really great picture, Sarah, but I just don't know. Is it possible for me? You know, I've maybe had years of my life where I have struggled with food or my body or engaged in these behaviors. Yes, it is absolutely possible for you. You can get to your healthy weight. You can stay there. You can have a tremendous peace with your body. You can walk through life confident, knowing that you are honoring God with the choices that you're making. You can have an ease with food. If you felt like, food is just all consuming, it can become easier. I promise it is possible for you. No matter where you're coming into this, you absolutely can, because God's grace is transformative and it is for all of us. So I want to invite you to come and learn more. Come find out what we are all about. We are currently, if you're watching this video soon after I'm recording it, we are putting together our founding members. Now, this is going to be a special group because we are going to stick with you for the long haul. We are with you on this path. We aren't going anywhere. Faithful Finish Lines has been around for almost 10 years, and Becky and I have been running it together for 6 years. We are in it with you for the long haul. We are ready to go with you every step of the way. We have an amazing supportive community. When we redid the program, we had a group of beta testers. We actually did 2 different tests that were like beta practice tests. And this last one, we invited them, if they wanted to join the Faithful Finish Lines new membership early, they could, as beta test members, and 50 women enrolled. So the women who had tried it out, even if it was in its rocky, rough draft form, 50 of those said, oh, heck yeah, I want to be in on that. They know because they experienced it. Those women came and joined us. When we had our previous program, we had a beta test for that one as well. A lot of those members are still with us. They're still here today. There are success stories. So the women who are doing it with us are telling you with what they're doing, with their choices and their behavior, that it's absolutely worth it. Becky and I both feel like God has given us this amazing, incredible gift in our weight loss stories. And it is truly a miracle. I absolutely believe that my weight loss is a miracle. I never thought it would be possible for me with my binge eating, my compulsive eating, my food addiction. It did not seem possible. Now, I will say it's a slow miracle. We're not about quick fixes here. And yes, I did get impatient a lot of times through the journey, but it's worth it. It's so worth it to now live with the food freedom that I have. not perfect. My body's not perfect. My food choices aren't perfect. You know, sometimes I still have to work and be very intentional about what I do with food. But the fact that I've been able to live at my goal weight for 20 years absolutely is a miracle. And after working with so many women, your miracle is waiting for you too. So if you want that picture, that beautiful, vibrant, confident woman who has energy, who moves through life with all of its foods all around and temptations with an ease and a grace and a confidence, then I want you to please come and join us at Faithful Finish Lines membership, because we have that waiting for you. Becky and I will be there for you. We are very involved in the group. We are actively involved in the group. We participate right along with you. We have a new theme every month and a new workbook where you can work through these things, but we also keep it really simple. We have a one-page calendar that shows you everything that you need to do for the month, so you can just check off the activities. The other thing that we do with our foundational guidelines is we have adjustments. We have 3 different levels of adjustment for each one to fit you where you are in your life. And you can go back and forth throughout those. So whatever activities or challenges we're asking you to do to work through this grace spiral, you look at it through the lens of where you're at. If you have a lot going on, or health issues, or kids at home, or a spouse that needs care, whatever those challenges that you face, you can make those adjustments. We have already kind of gotten the path ready for you for wherever you're coming in. So please consider coming and joining us for the Faithful Finish Lines membership. Becky and I will be there waiting for you. We are ready to guide you every step of the way. We truly believe that peace with food through God's grace is a gift that is available for every single woman. If you are watching this video, Faithful Finish Lines is for you. Come and join us. See you there.